The void of space was silent, endless, and cold. The ship floated in the darkness, a lone metal beast drifting between the stars. Inside, the crew moved with quiet purpose. The lights hummed softly, casting pale glows over tired faces. This was the Un's Titan, one of Earth's last great warships. Tonight, it had picked up something strange. Captain Daniel Shaw sat in his chair, fingers tapping the armrest. His dark eyes scanned the screen in front of him. A signal, a distress call. Not from any human colony, not from any ship they knew. It was alien. Play it again, he said. Lieutenant Maria Ruiz, the tactical officer, pressed a button. A voice filled the room, crackling, desperate, speaking in a language the computer barely understood. But the meaning was clear. Help us. Dr. Alan Pierce, the ship's scientist, adjusted his glasses. It's real. The signal's coming from outside our system. Someone out there is in trouble. Sergeant Jake Holt, leader of the Marine Squad, crossed his arms. And we're just gonna go? We don't even know who they are. Shaw didn't answer right away. He stared at the star map. Earth was far behind them. The galaxy was big, and humans were still new to it. Most aliens they'd met thought of them as animals. Now too violent, too dangerous. A Deathworld species, they called them. But this was a call for help. It could be a trap, Holt muttered. Or it could be real, Ruiz said. If it is, and we ignore it, we're no better than the ones who left us to die back on Earth. Shaw exhaled. He had fought in the wars. He had seen what happened when people turned away from those in need. Set a course, he said. We're answering. The journey took days. The ship's engines burned hot as it crossed the black. The crew prepared, checking weapons, studying the little they knew. The distress signal led them to a broken station, floating in pieces. God, Pierce whispered as they got closer. The station was huge, bigger than anything humans had built, but it was wrecked. Holes torn in the metal, fires still burning in zero gravity, and bodies. So many bodies, not human, different shapes, different sizes. Some looked almost like people, but wrong. It's too thin, too many limbs. Others were nothing like anything from Earth. Holt clenched his rifle. What the hell happened here? Then the scanners beeped. Movement, Ruiz said. Something's still alive. Shaw stood. Holt, take your team Pierce with them. Find whoever's left. The Marines moved fast, guns ready. The station groaned as they stepped inside. The air was thick with smoke and something else. Something sharp, like burning metal. Then they saw her. A figure in the shadows. Small, hurt. Not human, but close enough. 2 arms, 2 legs, skin pale like moonlight. She was bleeding. She looked up, eyes wide with fear, and then she spoke. A single word, a plea. Help. Holt didn't lower his gun. Captain, what do we do? Shaw looked at the girl, then at the ruins around them. Someone had done this. Someone was still out there. Now they knew humans were here. Bring her aboard, Shaw said. We're not leaving her. The crew moved fast. The girl, weak, trembling, was carried to the ship. As the medics worked, Shaw turned to the others. Whatever did this, it's still coming. Ruiz nodded. And we better be ready. Outside in the dark, something stirred, and the real fight began. The girl lay on the medical bed, her breathing shallow. The ship's doctor, a tired man named Harris, worked quickly. His hands moved over strange wounds cuts that glistened under the light, burns that didn't look like fire had made them. Captain Shaw stood by the door, watching. The girl's skin was too pale, almost gray. Her eyes, when they opened, were too large, too dark. Not human, but close enough to make his chest tighten. She's in shock, Harris said. Lost blood, but she's alive. Can she talk? Shaw asked. Harris shook his head. Not yet. Sergeant Holt leaned against the wall, arms crossed. We shouldn't have brought her. We don't know what she is. Lieutenant Ruiz shot him a look. She's hurt. We couldn't just leave her. What if she's dangerous? Holt snapped. Before anyone could answer, the ship's alarms blared. Shaw turned and ran for the bridge. On the screen, space twisted. Something was coming. Report, Shaw barked. Ruiz's fingers flew over the controls. Something just jumped in close. Big. Really big. The view screen flickered, then showed it. A ship, but not like any ship Shaw had seen. It was black, sleek, shaped like a blade. No lights, no markings, just darkness, and it was heading straight for them. Evasive maneuvers, Shaw ordered.
Aye!
The Titan lurched to the side as engines roared. The black ship didn't fire. It didn't need to. It was faster. It cut through space like a shadow, closing the distance. "Get us out of here," Shaw said. "We're trying," Ruiz said. "It's matching us move for move." Pierce, still on the bridge, stared at the screen. "It's not attacking. It's hurting us." Shaw's jaw tightened. "Where?" Pierce pulled up the map. "There's a dead zone ahead. No signals, no stars. Just empty space. A trap." Shaw made a decision. "Turn us around, full speed. We go right at them." The crew didn't question it. The Titan spun, engines burning hot. The black ship adjusted, but not fast enough. The Titan shot past it, so close, the hull groaned. For a second, Shaw thought they'd made it. Then the black ship fired. A beam of purple light sliced through space, missing the Titan by inches. "Shields at full," Ruiz yelled. Another shot. This one hit. The ship shook, alarms screaming. "Damage?" Shaw asked. "Minor," Ruiz said. "But they're coming around again." Shaw looked at the screen. The black ship was turning, smooth and deadly. Then behind it, something else appeared. Another ship. But this one was broken, burning, barely holding together. The girls' people, and they were charging the black ship. The bridge fell silent as they watched. The broken ship rammed the black one. Metal screamed in the void. Fire bloomed in the dark. Then silence. The black ship drifted, damaged. The broken ship was gone. Shaw let out a slow breath. They just saved us. Pierce looked sick. They sacrificed themselves. Ruiz turned. "Captain, we have to go." "Now," Shaw nodded. "Get us out of here." As the Titan jumped away, Shaw looked back at the screen. The black ship was still there, wounded but alive, and he knew. This wasn't over. Back in the medical bay, the girl's eyes opened. She looked at Harris, then past him at the door. She whispered a single word. "Run." The ship was damaged. Not badly, but enough. Shaw stood in the engine room, watching the crew patch up the worst of it. Sparks flew as a welder sealed a torn panel. The air smelled like burnt metal and sweat. Ruiz walked in, her face tight with worry. "Shields are back online, but we lost some thrusters. We can still fight, but we can't run fast." Shaw nodded. "And the enemy?" "No more contacts yet, but they'll come back." Holt entered, wiping grease off his hands. Tap's in the mess hall with Pierce. "She won't stop drawing on the table." Shaw frowned. "Drawing what?" "See for yourself." The mess hall table was covered in scratches. Tap had used a fork to carve shapes into the metal. Ships, stations, and something else, a massive, jagged thing like a floating fortress. Pierce looked up as Shaw approached. "She's trying to tell us something. This big one here, I think it's their base." Shaw studied the crude map. "Where is it?" Tap pointed to a cluster of marks near the fortress, then to a single, far away there, wrecked station. Then she dragged her finger between them, showing the path. Holt crossed his arms. "She wants us to go there." "Or she's warning us to stay away," Ruiz said. Tap shook her head violently. She pointed at the fortress, then mimed an explosion. Then she pointed at Shaw and the others, nodding firmly. Pierce exhaled. "She's saying we have to destroy it." Silence fell over the group. Shaw rubbed his jaw. "Even if we wanted to, we don't have the firepower for that." Tap grabbed his arm. Her eyes were desperate. She pointed at the table again, specifically at a small mark near the fortress. Then she mimed opening a door. Ruiz leaned in. A weak spot. Tap nodded. Shaw looked at the others. "If we can get inside, ... Double quotes. Holt finished the thought. "We blow it up from within." The plan was simple.
Too simple.
The Titan would approach the fortress, pretending to be a drifting wreck. A small team, Shaw, Holt, Ruiz, and Pierce would sneak in using an access point Tap had drawn. Find the core. Destroy it. Tap insisted on coming. "No," Shaw said. "It's too dangerous." She glared at him, then grabbed a pistol from Holt's belt and held it up. Her hands shook, but her grip was firm. Holt raised an eyebrow. "She can shoot?" Tap nodded. She pointed at herself, then at the pistol, then at the drawings of the enemy. Pierce sighed. She's fought them before. Shaw hesitated. They needed every advantage. Tap knew the fortress better than any of them. Fine, but you stay close. The fortress loomed in the distance. It was huge, a dark, jagged mass of metal bristling with weapons. The Titan floated silently toward it, engines barely running. Ruiz kept her voice low. No scans yet. They might think we're debris. Shaw checked his gear. Everyone ready? Nods all around. Tap adjusted the stolen pistol in her belt. The ship shuddered as it neared the fortress. A small docking port came into view, the one Tap had drawn. Holt exhaled. Here we go. The airlock opened. Cold darkness swallowed them whole. The ship was silent except for the rapid breathing of the crew. Captain Daniel Shaw stared at the screen, waiting for any sign of Sergeant Jake Holt and his team. Nothing. No radio contact. No movement. Just static. Lieutenant Maria Ruiz tightened her grip on the controls. We should go after them. Dr. Alan Pierce shook his head. If they're gone, going over there won't help. We need to think. Tap stood frozen, her hands pressed against the glass of the viewport. Her eyes were locked on the wrecked ship where Holt had disappeared. She knew what was in there. She had seen it before. Shaw made a decision. Prepare to leave. Now Ruiz turned. Can't just abandon them, we're not, Shaw said. But if those things are coming, we can't fight them here. We need distance. We need a plan. The engines roared to life. The Titan pulled away from the graveyard of ships, leaving the darkness behind. But no one felt safe. Tap finally moved. She grabbed a tablet and wrote in quick, shaky letters. They follow, they always follow. Pierce read it aloud. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled. How do we stop them? Tap hesitated, then wrote again. Fire. Only fire hurts them. Ruiz checked the weapons systems. We have plasma charges, enough to take out a small fleet. Shaw nodded, then we use them. But not yet. We need to draw them in first. Tap tugged on Shaw's sleeve. She pointed at the star map, then at a nearby planet. A barren rock with no atmosphere, no life. Pierce understood. A trap. We lure them there and hit them with everything we have, Shaw agreed. Set course, and someone get me a suit. I'm going to prepare the charges. The planet was a dead world. No water, no air, just dust and rock. The Titan landed in a wide canyon, its engines kicking up clouds of gray powder. Shaw and Ruiz suited up and stepped outside. The gravity was low, their boots crunching on the dry ground. They carried heavy plasma charges, setting them in a wide circle around the ship. Ruiz activated the last charge. This should do it. One spark, and this whole valley goes up. Shaw looked at the sky. Now we wait. Back inside the ship, Pierce monitored the scanners. Tap stood beside him, her fingers gripping the edge of the console. Then the alert sounded. Contact, Pierce said. Multiple signals. Closing fast. Shaw and Ruiz hurried back inside, sealing the airlock behind them. Everyone braced, Shaw yelled. The creatures came like a storm. Black shapes dropped from the sky, landing silently on the planet's surface. They moved in jerks and leaps, too fast, too wrong. Their long limbs twisted as they ran toward the ship. Holt was with them, or what was left of him. His body moved, but his eyes were empty. His mouth hung open, slack and lifeless. Something had hollowed him out. Ruiz gasped. No, ... Shaw forced himself to look away. Hold position. Wait for my signal. The creatures reached the edge of the plasma charges. They paused, heads tilting as if sensing the trap. Then they stepped forward.
Shaw shouted.
Ruiz hit the detonator. The world turned white. Fire erupted in a ring around the Titan, swallowing the creatures in a wave of heat and light. The ground shook, rocks shattered, ship's shields held, but the force of the blast rattled the hull. For a moment, there was nothing but flames. Then silence. The dust settled. Fires burned out. The creatures were gone. Holt's body lay motionless in the ashes. Tap let out a slow breath, but Shaw didn't relax. He watched the scanners, waiting because he knew. Some traps only worked once, and the galaxy was very, very big. The escape pod drifted through space, silent and small against the endless dark. Inside, the crew sat in exhausted silence. The wreckage of the Titan and the enemy ship burned behind them, fading into the distance. Captain Daniel Shaw checked their supplies. Food for 3 days, water for 5. No engines, no weapons. Lieutenant Maria Ruiz rubbed her face. We're sitting ducks out here. Sergeant Jake Holt, bandaged and bruised, leaned against the wall. Better than being turned into one of those things. Dr. Alan Pierce adjusted his cracked glasses. We need a plan. We can't just float forever. Tap, the silent girl who had warned them of the danger, sat with her knees pulled to her chest. She stared at the stars, her dark eyes unreadable. Shaw followed her gaze. Tap. You know more about them than we do. Is there anywhere safe? Tap hesitated, then reached for her tablet. She wrote slowly. Home. Pierce frowned. You're home. She shook her head. Then she pointed at Shaw, Ruiz, Holt, Pierce, and, finally, herself. Holt grunted. Earth. Tap nodded. Ruiz crossed her arms. It's weeks away at full speed. In this thing, it's impossible. Tap wrote again. Not impossible, just dangerous. Shaw exhaled. We don't have a choice. Those things are still out there. Earth needs to know. Holt pushed himself up. And let's not waste time. The journey was long. The pod had no real navigation, just basic thrusters. They drifted, conserving power, praying nothing found them. Days passed, food ran low. Tempers grew short. Then, on the 7th day, the sensors beeped. Ruiz jolted awake. Something's out there. Shaw moved to the screen. A ship, small, fast, coming right for them. Holt grabbed the only weapon they had, a single pistol. If it's them, we go down fighting. The ship closed in. It wasn't one of the black killers. It was blocky, ugly, human-made. A scavenger vessel. The radio crackled. A rough voice came through. Unidentified pod. This is the Scov ship Rust Bucket. You look like you could use a hand. Shaw almost laughed in relief. You have no idea. The scavengers were rough but kind. They gave the crew food, water, medical care. Their captain, a grizzled woman named Vera, listened to Shaw's story with growing horror. Monsters in the dark, huh? She shook her head. Figures. The universe ain't ever simple. Ruiz sipped real coffee for the first time in weeks. Need to get to Earth. Warn them. Vera nodded. We'll take you, but you gotta know. Earth's already got problems. Colonies are going dark. Ships disappearing. Same as you described. Pierce paled. They're already there. Tap, sitting quietly in the corner, clenched her fists. Shaw stood. And we don't have time to waste. Earth was different than they remembered. Military ships patrolled the skies. Cities were on lockdown. News feeds buzzed with reports of strange attacks, people vanishing in the night. The crew was debriefed by grim-faced officers. He told their story, showed the recordings, the evidence. The officers didn't doubt them. They'd seen it too. That night, Shaw stood on a rooftop, looking at the stars. Tap joined him, her small frame wrapped in a borrowed jacket. He didn't look at her. You knew this would happen. She nodded. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Tap touched her throat, then shook her head. Shaw sighed. Doesn't matter now. They're here. And we have to fight. Tap reached into her pocket and pulled out a small data chip. She handed it to Shaw. He plugged it into his tablet. Schematics appeared. Weapons, ship designs, weaknesses. Pierce's voice came from behind them. Is that Tap nodded? Ruiz grinned. A way to kill them. Holt cracked his knuckles. About damn time. Shaw looked at Tap. Could have given this to your own people. She met his gaze. Then she pointed at him. At the others. At the city below. This was her people now. The war began that night. Factories retooled. Soldiers trained. Ships armed. The enemy was strong, but humans were stubborn. And now, they were ready. As Shaw stood on the bridge of a new warship, he looked at his Karuis, Pierce, Holt, and Tap, silent but fierce. Let's show them what happens, he said, when you mess with Deathworlders. The ship roared into the sky, toward the fight, toward the dark, toward victory.